Hello, my fellow music enthusiasts! I got a new review series for you guys. Instead of looking at albums filled with modernish day artists, why don't we have a look back at the legends? Starting today, I'm going to look through every Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee throughout the years. How this works is I'll be going through the list in chronological order, from 1986 up until the foreseeable future. Yes, I'm aware this will be a never-ending project, but I don't care, I'm doing it anyway! And please bear in mind, this is all my opinion. So, without further ado, let's look back at 1986! Starting with Chuck Berry. Just the fact that he covered Ding-a-Ling should be enough to deserve his spot on the list. Bonus points for the fact that he was in the same room as Yoko Ono when he heard her singing and survived. Although I am tired of hearing his song Run Rudolph Run every holiday season. James Brown. Not one of my favorites in this class, but he does have a lot of groovy songs. Of course, there's I Got You, but there's also Get Up Off of That Thing, which I find myself referencing a lot more. Tie in his appearances in the Blues Brothers movies, and that sells a spot here. Ray Charles. I often forget just how much I've been exposed to his music. From Blues Clues to Blues Brothers, to even his song Mess Around being featured in my favorite movie of all time, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Calling this guy a legend would be an obvious understatement. Sam Cooke. Is it a scientific fact that everybody loves to cha-cha-cha? I sincerely hope so. He's the go-to if you're looking for classic dance songs or even some heartfelt ballads. Fats Domino. His work doesn't stand out to me as much as the others in this class. It's mostly just ballads or piano instrumentals, but his song The Fat Man does have an interesting scatting segment. The Everly Brothers. I ended up liking their music a lot more than I thought I would. I even found myself singing along to a couple of their songs. They got a real nice romantic vibe, and some of their songs like Bird Dog are fun and silly listens. Alan Freed. This guy literally popularized the term rock and roll. Not only did he help promote it, he even organized a 5-act show that was called the Moondog Coronation Ball, which is now considered the first major rock concert. And then he got into payola. John Hammond. He was the talent scout who promoted artists like Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, and Aretha Franklin, just to name a few. Buddy Holly. His songs are corny in the coolest way possible. That dude was talented at such a young age. Can you believe they named him after a Weezer song? Robert Johnson. I'm not really into his music, but what I do find interesting is that there's a legend where he sold his soul to the devil to master the guitar. I believe I sold my soul when I decided to do those now that's what I call music reviews. Jerry Lee Lewis. Goofy is what comes to mind when I listen to his songs. I don't know if he's so goofy he's genius or so goofy he's, well, goofy. The Return of Jerry Lee is an underrated track. Sam Phillips. He was the founder of Sun Records, where he brought us artists like Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Roy Orbison, Johnny Cash, and so much more. And speaking of Elvis, Elvis Presley. I was never a big fan of Elvis, but there are still a couple of songs from him I like, such as Viva Las Vegas and A Little Less Conversation, the Junkie XL remix anyway. He obviously deserves a spot here, but I still find his work heavily overrated. Especially his Christmas albums. Little Richard. I only knew of him because of that one episode of Full House, but he has a banging sound. Everything I like about jazz is in his songs. Rip It Up stands out to me the most. Jimmie Rodgers. I don't consider him rock and roll, but he does have a nice easygoing country vibe. I can understand why they call him America's Blue Yodeler, as it is showcased in his songs like Blue Yodel and Frankie and Johnny. Jimmy Yancey. He was the piano man before Billy Joel was the piano man. He's got quite the discography. Anything from a chill tempo to a frantic rhythm. He's definitely worth a listen if you're into piano instrumentals. Hobo Rag is one of my favorites of his. And there you go. That was the class of 1986. And my favorite was Little Richard, and my least favorite was Fats Domino.